Heyo, Plaidman here. So today we're doing kind of a lighter conversation about littering. And apparently some people are idiots and don't understand that littering is bad, which is fascinating since in my understanding that's just kind of something that all of us know, but clearly not. So how this came about, because in my world, I'm like, oh, this is how the world works. Like, you go somewhere, you buy something, you throw it away. This is just how it works. But then I worked with this guy, and it cracked me the F up because, I kid you not, short version of a medium length story was he said, oh, well, yeah, in public places, and he's referring to like grocery store parking lots or whatever, like public places like that or movie theaters. Yeah, no, I just drop my trash on the ground. Like I don't throw it away in the trash can. Now, I was astounded. Did not understand. And I was trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt because he seemed like an intelligent enough individual, like not a blatant criminal, horrible person. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had a different life experience than I did. So there's that. So I asked him, and basically what he tells me is like, oh, well, actually, the reason why, and I'm really doing him a justice because this is not how it sounded. So I'm just going to paint it with a really pretty brush. But basically, it was like, well, yeah, if you litter, right, in public places, then they have to hire someone to pick up the trash. That was the logic. And I put, hi, Perrin. Hi. This is Perrin. He's saying hi. You want to go outside, buddy? He wants to go outside. You want to go outside? Okay. Well, I'll let you outside. Thank you for interrupting my wonderful video. All right. You're on outside. Go ahead. 7 cats and a dog. Love my life. Okay, on with the show. So, sorry to ruin the story, but okay. Basically, the reason why it's justified is because somebody has to do the job of picking up the trash. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain why I think that's a load of malarkey, but, or a faulty subject, but either way. So, that was his thought process, and I was like, okay, but the problem with that is, like, that, like... And I tried. And granted, this was at work, so it's not like I have other things to be doing other than explain to him the insanity of his choices. So I'll just explain it to you now. Because I did try. I even used the example of like, well, that's the same thing as like having a fireman who's like, hey, I should set fires so that I can do my job. That's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. But it is kind of that logic of like, oh, I need to drop trash so that somebody has a job to drop trash. Or like, hey, it's a public park. I need to spray graffiti on the walls so that the person whose job it is to maintain the park has something to do. Because clearly they don't have anything to do. At all. Like a park person doesn't have anything to do. And it was so weird because he actually used that argument. He had a relative of his who cleaned parks, right? And he noted specifically that example where if people like sprayed graffiti on the walls, then his relative would have more things to do. And so therefore would be employed. I hate this argument totally. It's like the broken glass fallacy. It's like, okay, cool. If I go around and break windows, broken window fallacy, I think is what it's called. If I go around breaking windows, then the industry of breaking windows will exponentially increase. No, it won't. Yeah, windows will be fixed. Eventually what will happen is the community will be like, okay, cool. So no windows. Or, okay, cool, we're going to have like break-proof windows or something like that because it's just too darn expensive to constantly maintain this thing. And frankly, if the community does not step up to the criminality, because it is a crime, like you're breaking property, you're breaking things that do not belong to you. If you're dropping trash, you are effectively making things dirty that don't specifically belong to you. They don't. They'd be like basically the equivalent of going into someone's house and dropping trash. That's effectively the same thing. Because public property, even though I might add that, a grocery store parking lot is not public property. It's actually private property. So you're going around and you're dropping trash in private property so somebody could have a job. That's even worse. It's like going into someone's house and just dropping trash. And you're like, well, that way you have something to do. And it's like, well, by that logic, I should just go and poke your tires with a fucking screwdriver. Sorry, with an Evans screwdriver. And then you'd have something to do with your day. Because, maybe it's a Saturday and you had nothing to do. And now I've just given you something to do. You're welcome. Enjoy the 4 tires that you just purchased. Look, you probably needed new tires anyways. I just did you a favor. Yay! Like, that's the insane logic behind this. And there's so many analogies one could go on and on and on. So simply put, it's a very flawed perspective of, hey, if I cause this, then naturally we need to do more of blah. And it's like, no, that's not true. And actually, that's not how the world works. Okay? The world is trying. People are trying. Everyone in the world is trying to make their life better. Okay? So when you do something like that, what that inevitably does is it sets us back. It's the 2 steps forward, 1 step back principle. That's really what it is. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay? Everyone's doing their thing, and then voila, and you have a person who's like la, 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 doing like base level, very entry level criminal activities. And you know what? It's societally criminal. It's not literally criminal, as in there's no necessarily law, although there is many laws about littering, so I guess it is criminal. But it's also societally and morally criminal because we as a society are striving to go forward and succeed. So if you have people who are like actively just attacking and ruining things, even in simple ways of like, I'm going to litter or I'm going to do this, or, like the person who just takes a cart from the grocery store and then they just leave it there so it can like go and hit someone else's car. It's like, dude, spend 2 seconds. Literally 45 seconds of your day can just go to the little thing and park it. And I feel like the reason for this is at a fundamental level, is at a parental level. So when you have children, if you have children, it is imperative that you instill in them certain viewpoints, okay? Certain pro-survival viewpoints. And here's how I'll break it down. There is the things for your child's individual health. Pardon me. Their individual health. Like they need to eat, they need to do basic exercise, stuff like that. Okay? Just basic stuff. And also education. Like, hey, and they should always strive to learn more. Basic stuff. Next thing would be like, oh, hey, mom and dad is paying for stuff and helping you, the child, survive. You as a child, you need to like give mom and dad some things in return, which includes like washing dishes, vacuuming, general chores, feeding the dogs, taking out the trash. Very baseline stuff, okay? Not super hard, considering the parents go and work for 8 hours a day. Kids should be able to do and should do those basic things along with other things, and really you do your thing. And the reason for that is because when you get in a family unit, then you have that survival, okay? Then this is where it gets kind of complicated because a lot of people kind of don't know this. When you get into groups, whether it be a soccer team or some other sports team, baseball, football, whatever, okay, or other group, church's group, or stuff like that, it's also imperative to have your child contribute to that group. Now, oftentimes, the parents are financially contributing to that group, right? Whether it be a church or a sport team or whatever, there's some financial contribution. That's good. That does not eliminate the child's participation and contribution. And so church is a good example. You're having church, right? Let's say they have this whole event and they have a bunch of folding chairs. Well, who's going to put the folding chairs away? Well, that's something that the kids should be doing. Not exclusively, like perhaps there's other people doing it, right? And that's fine. And they only need to put a couple chairs away. It's not even hard work. But it's not enough for them to just like be there. No, they actually need to contribute to the group and have a vested interest in the group. The reason why I say that is because to the extent that you impose those ideologies, at least in they themselves, family, and then also whatever groups that they're a part of in life, and then to go further, humankind, like the community that they're in, okay? So if you're walking down the street and you see trash on the street, that's your community. Yeah, there might be a trash picker-upper that may or may not pick up that trash. Or you're taking a dog for a walk. Pick up the poop! Hello! I've taken the dog for a walk and I didn't remember the thing, and then I went back on a walk again and picked up the poop afterwards. Because, hey, this is my community. Hello? I want it to look nice. I want it to look nice. I don't want someone else to do. And the very base, like, simple viewpoint on this is just like, hello, would I want someone to do that to me? Would I want someone to dump trash on my yard? Would I want that? No, I would not. So I'm not going to do that. I actually had, and this is a side note, but I was at Starbucks, I think, getting coffee for my lady and myself. And there was this female who dropped trash out of her car window. She just went like that. That's it. Like a mic drop, but with her like plastic cup. Now, granted, she's there right in front of Starbucks, okay? If she got out of her car, it would take her like less than 10 seconds to get out, drop the trash in front of in a trash can, and then get back in her car. 10 seconds, the whole cycle, round trip. But does she do that? No. She takes the 1 second option and just drops the trash out. And I was feeling particularly feisty, so I picked it up and I threw it back in her car. And I was like, hey, don't do that. Throw it back in the trash can. We went back and forth for the better part of 5 minutes. I even got behind the car trying to stop them from getting away because they were just trying to get away. I even put the trash in the spokes of her wheel. I'm not terribly proud of this. It was such a bad idea. Nobody was hurt in this whole instance, but it was very fascinating because I knew that I was not getting across to her that what she did was wrong. Okay? I knew that how I handled it, she did not learn anything. Okay? I, however, did learn a lot. I realized that is not the way to communicate to people about these things. And perhaps how I'm talking right now is not the way to communicate either. But I realize that it is imperative that you instill in your children at a young age and reinforce as they get older that they are responsible for their life, for their family's life, for any groups that they are part of, and the community that they live in. If they do at least those 4 things, they will be better people. People would rather be around them. They will be a wonderful contribution to society. To the degree that they do those things, okay? Which sounds really ominous because it's like, oh, that's really hard. And it's like, look, you could be fat and have no family and, no groups and like be a contributing member to society. Fine. You got 1 out of 4. That's better than a lot of people, okay? And then work on the other ones. Work on them, okay? You don't have to be fat. You Oh, there's a whole other thing that I would love to talk about. So, simply put, littering is not okay at all. Period. Stop doing it. And it's not like to save the turtles or to save the manta rays or all that stuff. Like, I mean, there's that too. And I'll get into a whole other thought process on how trash should be handled. It's really for your own space. If you think about it, would you want, like if you just drop off trash on the road or whatever, basically treat your environment like it is your house. And if your house is garbaggio, then perhaps you need to look into that as well, because that's not a healthy way to live. And you're probably not happy. Like look at it this way. If your house is trash, right? Go to somebody's house that isn't trash and just chill there for a little bit. Now, how do you feel? And I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better about that home than you are at your home. And if you feel better there than at your own home, then perhaps you should do the right thing and start making a change on your home. Anyhow, this is Plaidman. I'm out. Enough lecturing for the day. Peace, love, happiness. Like, subscribe. Share to friends if you want to or not. And please, by all means, comment if you're like, you know what, Plaidman, I want you to talk about something. I want you to talk about this. I'm open to any subject whatsoever. It can be heavy. It can be light. I try and keep it PG-13 because, I don't know, maybe there's a kid somewhere. Maybe there's a kid somewhere. Maybe there's a kid somewhere who's listening to this, and I don't want them to necessarily be like, oh my God, I can't hear this. So, anyways, thank you all. Talk to you later. Bye.